It's the final day of the BMW IBSF Bobsleigh and Skeleton World Championships presented by Idealversicherung. We're at the Ice Canal in Altenberg in Saxony, and lo and behold, the sun has found us. It is bitterly cold as we get ready for the deciding races for our women's Monobob competition, but we could have even more action. Good morning, everybody. Thanks for joining us. I'm Martin Haven. John Morgan, this is going to be tough because the track could well be even more treacherous than yesterday.
Well, it was treacherous for everybody who came down the track. Laura Nolte, she got a bronze medal last week in the World Championships. She was the leader at the end of the first run. She posted a soft time in the second run. She fell to third, but watch out for her. And, well, the person you should really watch out for, Yamanka and Humphries. She won last week's World Championships. She won 2 other of these Monobob races. And she had a soft first run, posted the best time of the second run, and she's real close to the gold medal after 2. And the leader overnight, Stephanie Schneider. Second best run in each run. She survived, and she's the top of the leaderboard. 4 heats, like at a golf tournament. You know, there's 4 rounds, and bobsledding there's 4 heats, and the next heat coming up is called the moving heat, Martin. Pretty close amongst these 3 top athletes.
Yeah, it really is. That's where the battle for the medals is. Schneider, Humphries and Nolte. Yamanka, the Olympic champion of women's bob, is in 4th place, but she slipped back a little out of that leading group ahead of Kalicki, Cynthia, Appiah, Martina Fonteneve and Melissa Lotholtz. Rounding out the top 10, Misha McNeil and Katie Bile. And now a few winners and losers. One of the big pre-race favourites coming in here should have been Brianna Walker of Australia. She's won a handful of Monobob races, but just has not managed to get it together. Alana Myers-Taylor crashed out of curve 9 in the first heat, has fought her way back up the order. But it is all about experience. In this run, John, you could lose a medal shot. And the more experience you've got, the quicker you will react to this track. And that's got to play into the hands of Yamanka and Humphries. She's been a driver. You forget that she was a brakewoman to start with. She's been driving now for 14 years. And she may have the best shot because the sun will make the track even faster, even harder. It wasn't warmer overnight. It was bitterly cold again. So it's going to be a real challenge. For Laura Nolte, Stephanie Schneider and Yamanka and Humphries, the medals are there for the taking, but they're unfortunately also there potentially for the losing. So here is our starting list. We go with the fastest overnight, and that is Stephanie Schneider. She said her plan was to have dinner, get some rest, and come back feeling 10 years younger. That's possibly the aging process of driving these sleds, I think, in yesterday's conditions. And we will go all the way down to the tail of the field where we find our Ukrainian slider, Lydia Hunko. So 23 sleds will start the 3rd heat of the BMW IBSF Women's Monobob World Championships. The first ever World Championship gold medal will be handed out in a couple of hours. Who will take it? Our first heat leader, Stephanie Schneider, moved up into the lead overnight. So can she hang on in this 3rd heat?
Well, consistency's always been Stephanie's challenge. You know, as a brakeman, she's been a world champion and world champion as a driver, and just inconsistent. Last week, 4th in the women's 2-person event. She was 8th and 5th on the first day, moved up for the 2nd best time in the 3rd heat, but just missed out of a medal. And Martin, first person down, a lot of pressure. She puts a great run in like she did in either one of the heats yesterday. She's definitely a chance for a goal.
But one of the key areas there, the exit of corner 9 down this straight into the Kreisel. She handled it pretty well.
Ooh, skid here in the wrong spot of the track for a skid, but she does well in that 11-12 crossover. And these are good lines, Martin. This looks a lot like yesterday. Her best time yesterday was a 1:00:07.
Yeah, a 007 across the line in a new track record. Yeah, talked to Francesco Frigic last night, and I said, what about the track record? He said, it's supposed to be sunny. If the sun finds us in Altenberg, we could get a track record even in the 4-man. but it'll be close. But Schneider breaks the 1 minute barrier, the first woman to do so. 59.80.
Not a lot wrong with the run. Little skid here out of 9, but Martin, this was a very confident run by Stephanie Schneider. You could tell that when she ducked her head at the finish curve to underneath for the last 30 yards. Makes her home in Dresden, which isn't far away from here. And the former hammer thrower, she's got her hands on that trophy with that run, Martin.
Yeah. But what can Kalicki Humphries do? Just 400s behind. That's like having a great white shark behind you with its mouth open, isn't it? Kalicki Humphries moved from 4th to 2nd in the second heat. Fastest of all in the second run. And again, she's got great speed at the start.
Yeah, she had the 24 yesterday. She doesn't get in perfectly. 21, a better start. But yeah, she's only a couple hundreds back. She was 600-700s back of Schneider yesterday. But that skid, and we'll find out if it cost her. I mean, no doubt, she is the best driver in the field, Martin. And she used to win. When she was winning her Olympic gold medal in 2010, she had the best start by far. Now she's not using her legs. She's using her eyes and hands to be dominant. 1000s back. She was closer than that at the start. But this is where she excels on the bottom part of the track. High speed.
She's going to take the lead.
If she's straight
here, track record coming.
Right here. Here she comes.
This could be a big one. 57.6 something, 57.7, 59.7 across the line, 59.59. Wow.
Wow.
All right. The great white shark just took a bite out of Stephanie Schneider and turned a deficit into an advantage.
This is called the moving day, the moving heat of the 4-heat World Championships. The only athlete in the field with goggles. But Martin, she might run too far here. Look, she's got her foot caught. She's not down. She should have been able to get down. Now look, she's got her foot caught there. Now watch the sled drift to her right. This was a potential disaster here for Kalicki Humphries. It's still drifting right. She was only 200s back from Schneider. But then the top speed on the bottom.
Yeah.
Look at the speed difference. She'll have made that
mistake loading dozens of times and didn't panic. Next up, Lara Nolte led after the first heat with a track record. Now she needs another one to get back into contention. 6:19, another strong start.
Yeah, she's back from both of her starts yesterday. Humphries improved. Both German athletes got a couple hundreds worse. So not only is Humphries improved at the start, she set the track record at the bottom, and a lot of pressure here on Nolte, who's again bronze medal last week. But Martin, she had a very soft second run, the 4th best time of the second run.
Little skiddy down the straight into the Kreisel. She needs good exit. She's got a good exit. Second fastest.
Couple taps there. Graveyard needs to be perfect. She is. I don't think she's going to catch her teammate. Looks like 3rd place.
So 100th in
she
front.
She got the bottom by 100.
Oh, man, oh, man.
She picked up 500s on the last intermediate, Martin, from the graveyard down. She picked up 500. She was 400s behind her teammate, picked up 5, but she's still about the same distance behind Humphries.
Now that's 3900s better than her first heat and 8900s better than her second.
Fastest they've ever been down the track. All 3 sleds have set personal best track records.
Talk amongst yourselves. I'm just going to have a look at how far away we were from the 4-man record. I'll do that in the break. We could have a huge day here today.
Pretty mirror of the lines here. Not much difference.
No, it's the mistakes on the straights that are costing the time, isn't it? The corners, you've got that grip, you've got that feel. Yamanka now, our Olympic champion, our 2019 world champion. She's been in a bit of an off season this year in the women's bob, and especially in the monobob. She has not got to grips with these sleds at all until yesterday.
Yeah, third best time of the second run on this former hammer thrower. She's going to need at least a 27 or a 28 here. 28's what she had both runs yesterday. 31. And Martin, she's on the outside looking in. She has to have a perfect run to challenge her two German teammates. And Martin, as we talk about, there's always a race within a race. And needless to say, emerging as Germany #1 here in this women's monobob, it will have a lot to do with selection procedure for next year's Olympics.
And it's not just two teammates,
cool,
because Kim Kalicki is right behind her as well. Best speed into the Kreisel. Good run from Yamanka when it counts.
Boy, she's not there though, Martin. She's way back. And start time didn't help. Perfect lines there, Martin, but she's way back.
The bleeding,
she's gonna fall.
She's not closing.
No.
This is dangerous.
7/10. Yeah, she's way off the pace.
Well, she is way quicker than she went yesterday. That is.
But so was everybody else.
Yeah, 6/10, 7/10, but the others are improving by nearly a second, so she is slipping. And the danger comes from behind. Teammate Kim Kalicki dropped from 3rd to 5th behind Yamanka yesterday. But Mariama can't rely on her doing the same again.
Well, the start time, you know, she lost a 10th plus at the start and got slower. Martin, at the front of her sled, those little sticks out. Look at this, if they show it to us. See the little handles?
Hopefully lifting the sled.
Yeah, they look like they're out. If they no, it's like they were out, but she did not have a run to move up. She might stay in her placing, but she does not want to be the 4th German in the field.
Yeah, that unfortunately is out of her hands. You know, it's entirely down to Kim Kalicki, the silver medalist last week, 3rd in the first heat. Like you said, a soft run in the second. It all drifted away. So she dropped to 5th place overnight.
Start. She had 29, then a 23, then a 28. The only athlete that stayed at the start that she had yesterday was Kaylee Humphries. Besides the fact she drove faster than anybody on the way down. But this is the heat, Martin. This is where you shuffle the cards and you want to be on top, be the first card off. And that's what Humphries has done so far.
Well, Kalicki has already, from the start, moved ahead of Yamanka. She doesn't have the speed, 5th best speed of the 5 sleds.
Falling back, though.
Yep.
She wants to get in front of 6,700s down. If she's not going to do that, she's falling back 4 times, Martin.
Yeah, and it's hard to see why. That was a clean-looking run. 60.06.
I mean, that's the fastest she's ever been down the track, but nowhere near as fast as the other 4 that came down.
Yeah, her real problem was her second heat, which was 6/10 slower than her first. Not 600, 6/10. She's just gone.
So that's going to put her medal chances. Can't fault this too much. Well, other than bang, only 1 skid, or does she get a second one going? Yeah, she gets a second one going, and that probably has a lot to do why she didn't have a chance to move up, Martin, and this wasn't perfect. Back end's going to tap before 11-12. Graveyard. She's crossing over the graveyard. It taps before the take-on.
Well, that leaves the door open for Canada's Cynthia Appiah. Kaylee Humphries leads. Can Appiah move up now? 6th fastest in both runs.
And the start time, Martin, track record, 6 flat in the second run. Her and Alana Myers-Taylor both.
5:93, 700s quicker.
700s. Every other athlete's got 300-400s worse. And what's this Canadian future superstar do? Smashes the track record by 700s. Martin, she has a real chance of moving up. with a clean run. Now, she's got the least amount of experience of anybody in the field driving, and especially these sleds, but she has been impressive in the last 3 weeks we've watched her unfold here.
Yeah, really impressive. Third best speed as well for Cynthia Appiah. She will move up. A brilliant start. Still third best speed. Little rocky 11 to 12.
Watch out. Graveyard coming up. Not good. Really trouble. Really. Oh, she's Tokyo drifts it into that 15.
She could still jump up. She jumps ahead of Kalicki. She almost got Yamanka. But those mistakes down below the Kreisel have cost her a chance to be fourth. But that is a great run.
There's no Rookie of the Year trophy, I mean, really, but this lady right here has really impressed me. No other athlete has come out of the box like this one here. This is like Kaylee Humphries. Look at her. Look at her excited about the start time.
She is the surprise, isn't she?
My Rookie of the Year, for sure. Here's a mistake, 11 to 12. The first athlete that I hit before the take on to 12 caused this stress. If she didn't have that, she would have gone into fourth ahead of Jamaica. But the start time, and then, of course, down here in the graveyard, you know, when you're first-year driver like this, Canadians got something here. She gets 150 more trips between now and next year.
If only she show a little bit of emotion, though, John. Next up is Martina. Yes, she does. Martina Fonteneve of Switzerland, just over a second behind. She went from 0.02 behind Appiah to 0.31 back. So she didn't lose a spot, but the gap opened right up.
How did Appiah go that much faster? Every other sled other than Kaylee Humphries has gone slower by 200-300ths, except for Humphries went even from what she did yesterday. Appiah goes 700ths better into another time zone in that first 50 meters.
Maybe she was taking it easy on
Martina's got a chance here. Wow.
She does. Should be a solid top 10 run, but that might see a drop back.
Yeah, she's got to watch out. There's some people right behind her, including another Canadian.
It's the mistakes that get you on this track. Oh, and again,
wow. I don't know, Mark.
Let's take a look at the time. 60.63. That's not even as quick as her first heat.
She was 1:11 before this heat. Now she's 2:11 behind. She's dropped a 1 full second behind Kaylee Humphries. Martin, she is in the spot where she could go the other direction.
She might drop out the top 10, actually, with that run.
Okay, we got to have a major skid. She's not steering away. She's still not steering away. Look at that. She's kept the runners straight, didn't check them, but she had a lot of loop there. Now she's steering there, come off of 13, and that steer causes the triple tap. Not good.
You get a tap in the wrong place, and these sleds don't stop skidding. For Canada, Melissa Lotholtz, 8th place overnight, 11th fastest in the first heat, but a 5th fastest second trip down moved her up 3 spots from 11th to 8th. She could easily move another one ahead of Martina Fonteneve.
She's a good starter. Let's see if she improves. A 14 was her best start, so 10 or 11, 17. The only athlete. Humphries was the same. Appiah, another time zone. Every other athlete's 200-300 worse at the start. But Melissa's a good drive here. She could move up, Martin. 11th in the first run, 5th best time of the second run. So she had a let in the first run, but they don't allow lets. It all counts.
Fonteneve is vulnerable, and she could close on Kalicki. That's a good run down to the Kreisel. Speed is okay.
Well, she did pretty good in the second run yesterday. These splits here, those are very nice 11-12 exit. Now the graveyard.
She's ahead of Fonteneve. How close will she get to the top 6? Kim Kalicki in 6th.
Only. She'll move up more.
9900s back, and she is a 59.91. So she doesn't close on Kalicki by a great deal.
7/10 from Kalicki, but she's moved up one more, so the Canadians got 2 in the top 7 at least. Top
she
6.
likes that.
7.
6th best run from Melissa Lottholtz.
Another former brakeman.
I think they had fun juice at breakfast time, didn't they, the Canadian girls?
2 silver medals for her as a brakeman in 17 and 16 in the back of Kalicki Humphries' sled. And here's the 13, 14 transition. Looks like, look at that, quite a bit of skid there, Martin. That didn't help.
Yeah.
At that, still accelerating, believe it or not, coming to the fastest part of the track. Look at the eyes.
Good first run of the day for Melissa Lottholtz. Next up, Misha McNeil slipped 1 to 9th place in the second heat. 8th fastest in the first, 10th in the second.
The worst starter in the top 10. 43 was her best start yesterday, so she's 45. So she does what everybody else, except for Humphries and Cynthia Appiah. But she drove pretty well considering the start deficiency. 8th best time in the first run, 10th in the second run, Martin. And, you know, in my opinion, this is another athlete who's just been in a little bit of a slump this year. Just haven't seen any kind of top performances that would, we've seen them before out of her. 8th best speed.
8th best speed.
Considering the start.
Yeah. Now, how close is she to Martina Fontenev? 3400s back. She's not going to close that much on Fontenev.
Oh. No, she's not going to catch anybody. She's going to maintain her, or she's going to at least stay in her position of 9th. 1:00.65, so she's dropped a lot more. Still the fastest she's been down in the 4 heats, so a personal best track record. I'll guarantee you they were not doing these speeds in training. So she's fastest she's ever been down the track, but the problem is she's a 2nd plus behind the track record holder, Kalicki Humphries. Look at their boy, the rudder tips are really steered hard in the middle of that curve and come off, and the result was, look at this one. She's almost got the thing sideways. Look at this. She almost tips over here, Martin. Hits the takeoff. Watch the sled come airborne. This was close to going over. Look at the 2 runners.
Yeah.
Stress.
Just as well, she's quite light. That was close, wasn't it? Next up, Katie Bile of Austria, up from 13th place after the first run to the top 10 with an 8th fastest second heat. That was much more like the Katie Bile that we're used to seeing. Let's see if she can control the skidding this morning.
Yeah, she's 100th off her best start, but, you know, Kathy, 13th in the first, 8th in the second. You'd expect her to be in the top 6 or 7, Martin. But didn't have a great women's 2-man event last weekend. You know, this is the World Cup champion.
Yep.
8th last weekend. And she just had more hits than Elvis on that straightaway. Clean here.
Good speed,
nice
though.
Transition there. She's got a chance.
How close does she get? She's overhauling. Oh, she is overhauling McNeil at the moment. That skid might just set her back a little. Does she move up to 9th place at the line? She does.
26. So she's in position to pick up Martina Fontenev from Switzerland. She's only 1500s back there.
Yep. She just pulled in half a second over Misha McNeil, and that jumped her up from 10th to 9th place.
She got a half second on Maria Fontenev, so she's got a chance to move up 2 more spots with a good, well, 1 more spot in the 4th run. This didn't help. Bang, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Yeah.
That's
but
a lot. And here,
but for that and this, she might well be ahead of Fontenev by now into 8th.
Yeah, she would have caught Fontenay if she didn't do that right there.
One more.
Yeah, one more. There's a lot of people looking forward to a little bit of rest right now. Kaylee Humphries, Lara Nolte, Stephanie Schneider, your podium, it looks like, but a dogfight going on behind. 10 sleds down, another 13 to go in the third heat of the Women's Monobob World Championships. Andrea Greco slipped out of the top 10, 16th fastest only in the second heat, dropped her from 9th to 11th. Let's see if the Romanian can push herself back into the top 10.
100-meter sprinter, who's the tallest athlete in the front seat in the field. 19, she had a 6:16 yesterday, which was the 4th best start. Martin, 9th in the first run, as you said, 16th place in the second run. So she had a run to forget, and that's as bad as you can do. That you can't do worse than that.
She was in real trouble there, nearly rolled it into 6. Wow.
That looked like a skeleton line right there, Martin.
Yeah. Well, don't forget they're starting a lot earlier today. First heat yesterday for the Monobob wasn't until 11:30, and the second heat, the fastest starts, that was at 1 p.m. So it's a much colder start area this morning. Maybe a little frosty still. Oh, but Greco rather having an absolute horror, John.
Demolition Derby run right here. Wow.
Oh, man.
1:00.54. Still her fastest she's ever been down the track, Martin, but, you know, she's never been at that speed down the track.
For all of those, it's actually quicker than Misha McNeil's run as well. Misha, 60.65. But that was brutal, right from corner 4 on. Oh.
Yeah, this is up top where you can't make mistakes. She gets hit here, pushes her in the middle, high, up, back down, and now she tries to get out of here, and then bang, she comes out too early. Almost, look at these pictures, almost rolls in. It's so hard to get a sled. Looked like a skeleton ride there. Wow.
Yeah.
I know, I cringed too. I cringed when that happened.
Katarina Vick couldn't watching through her fingers. It was like watching Doctor Who. So a disaster for Andrea Greco opens the door for Melanie Hassler. She dropped 2 in her second run. Can the Samoritz Bobsleigh Club athlete pull herself back up the order a little?
Well, she's the only other athlete besides Humphries and Cynthia Appiah that maintained their start or got better. Appiah went to another time zone with her start, but she tied her start. Martin, this is the only volleyball player in the front seat. Everybody else, sprinters, heptathletes, track and field, throwers, only volleyball player.
Couple of skids creeping in.
She's got a chance here,
9th
Martin.
best
Good lines
speed.
down here. She could pick off Greco.
And McNeil, possibly.
She's got to be perfect here. And she is.
Well, this is where she was so
She's
good
got a
yesterday.
chance. She's going to get one sled, Martin, maybe 2.
She picks off 2. She gets them both, ahead of McNeil and Greco.
Yeah. And she's only back 11. Katie Birrell, so she's got a good run there, Martin. That's her better run of the 3.
John, that's a second quicker than her first heat and 1.2 seconds nearly quicker than her second. That's a huge difference in that third run.
She's got a little personality too. She get the helmet on. Yeah. She's always pretty friendly to the camera. Good lines.
Bronze medalist in the women's race.
Look at the runner. She's steering. Flops.
Bronze.
1 tap. And no, 2, 3, 4. That cost her. Look at her line with Kaylee. Well, she's been watching Kaylee's lines. That looks pretty similar. Yeah. Gets a little higher than Kaylee on the exit.
Took a bronze medal in Samoritz, her home track earlier in the season, her best race result so far. Next up, Nadezhda Sergeva. And the Bobsleigh Federation of Russia athlete dropped a spot in the first heat. She's the top one of their 3 in the field. 12th in the first heat, slipped to 13th overnight.
8th best start in both runs yesterday with a 21. There's 28. That's 700 slower. Appiah went 700s quicker. 2 other sleds were the same. Everybody else has been worse. This is one of the most experienced pilots in the field. Heptathlete, her athletic career she comes from.
Yeah, she started as a push athlete.
Here, Martin.
Yeah.
But she did win one of these races up in Winterberg, Martin.
Yeah, first one of the season. Started the year well, and it's sort of tailed off since. And she has the lowest speed of all. She is not going to move up here, is she? She could be vulnerable to attack from behind. Oh,
well, Martin, this isn't Winterberg, that's for sure.
That's for sure. And across the line, 3 seconds back, 60.76. That's the slowest run we've seen today. That random slide everywhere, just when we didn't need it from her.
You know, she just never felt it in the women's 2-person event, way back in 16th spot. This is not, she's one more heat to saying, I've had enough. It's been not a very good year for this very experienced BFR athlete, and you wouldn't know experience looking at those lines on these new sleds that drive so much different than the women's 2-person sleds that they're used to. Are they 200 pounds lighter, Martin? Is it 225 pounds lighter? I think
something like that, yeah. Just a little shorter between the axles as well. Well, next up is Kim Uran from Korea for 14th place in the first heat. 12th fastest run, didn't move her up in heat 2, but she tidied up a lot of the skids. Let's see if she can attack. I think Sergeva could be in trouble.
Well, Martin, another athlete, just went faster than she's ever been before, but this one has got the 20th and 21st worst start times of the competition. 62 was her best. She just went 54. And when we saw her for the first time at Königssee, Martin, we were very impressed with her 4th place finish. But she's got a chance to move up here with any kind of run.
No, it all went wrong in corner 3. She rattled through 3, 4, and 5, skidded off 9.
She's not down yet.
Somehow she's still got top 10 speed. How on earth is she doing that?
I don't know, but she's not going to move up, Martin. She's going the other direction. Still the fastest she's ever been down the track, 1:00.83. Well, Martin, yeah, that's 30 hundredths better than she went in her second run yesterday. But Martin, that's the more hits than Elvis run there too.
Yeah, half a second quicker than her first heat as well, so she is improving. The track's faster for sure this morning.
Everybody's been down faster than they've ever been before.
Yeah. And their eyes are probably wider than they've ever been before as well. Look at this. In the early corners, into the labyrinth, sideways from one lock to the other.
You know, these sleds look out of control, Martin, but I'm still so impressed with women's monobob. I mean, the female athletes have had this daunting challenge to take these brand new sleds and come onto the most challenging track on the planet. And in my opinion, things are going pretty well.
Yeah, half a dozen races to learn them and then off to Altenberg. You don't do that normally. Next up, Brianna Walker of Australia, 6:11. That's a much better start than she produced yesterday. And I'm sure she was very, hits the wall there. And I think she did that in the first heat as well.
Yeah, she certainly did. But the start was spectacular, Martin. Second best start, 6:11. Still 1800s behind Cynthia Appiah.
She's one of the best starters in the field. She's one of the best monobob drivers as well. Oh, and she crashes it. hunkered
Might
down
come back
inside.
up right here.
Does it come
Might
back
come
up?
back up
No.
right here. Oh,
Yes, it does. Oh, and she was ready for it too as well. She popped right back up. What unbelievable cold-blooded presence of mind when you're skating upside down at 80 miles an hour to feel that it's popped back up and to start driving again? You're kidding me.
Had a rough time in the two-person competition, crashed out in training, did not compete in the women's event. This is an athlete who won 2 different races this year at Innsbruck.
Yeah.
400-meter hurdler by trade. Exit of 9. Look at those pictures. Little late, trying a different line. But Martin, we saw this yesterday with Alana Myers-Taylor. The sleds, watch it, I'm trying to get back up here. But I knew down in 13 it'd have a chance. And in 13, because it's so much lighter, Martin, they bounce right up and around, right here. Into 14 in the crossover. Wow. Every picture tells a story.
Oh,
wow.
Man. Well, Lana crashed off 9 yesterday. Brianna crashing off the Kreisel. That's even quicker. And that just knocks the wind out of you. So moving on quickly, Christine de Bruyn, 16th place after the first heat, dropped away a little, still in 16th after a 19th best second run. And she has not yet got a grip on these sleds.
Okay, 14th best start of 41, pretty much what she did yesterday. She's a half second down of the start to her teammate. That's unbelievable. Roholtz is only 2,500s down difference. So Christina de Bruyn's got these former brakemen that are in front of her with unbelievable improved starts. She's going to have to rely on her driving. Wow, she's got issues.
She is not feeling it at all in these sleds. Well, she'll be 16th at the line, or will she? She'll be ahead of Brianna Walker, so she grabs a spot, but wide eyes from Graham Richardson, the coach. Wide eyes, I'm sure, for Christina de Bruyn as well. A 60.89.
Yes.
Well, that's a second quicker than her second heat, John.
But she hasn't got these sleds figured out. She's had a tough 2-man transition last week. She finished in the back of the field. And she had medaled in the 2 previous World Championships. So I don't know what's going on with Christina de Bruyn, but man, Bryan Adams' music doesn't help.
Most times it does, but right now it's, probably not pouring oil on troubled waters for Christine de Bruyn.
In St. Moritz, you'd hear that music coming down the track. Not here.
Yeah. No. Here you're a little busy to focus on it anyway, I think. This track demands all your attention. For Lubov Chernik, she moved up 2 from 19th to 17th with a better second heat. But this week is the first time she has ever driven these sleds. Didn't race one at all in any of the races so far this season.
Another track and field athlete. She's a long jumper and a sprinter. 6:32, you know. A little bit better. In fact, that's her best start of the 3. So this is the 4th athlete that's improved at the start or tied. But Martin, she needs to improve coming down the track.
Well, it is looking so much better already.
Jinx her?
Yeah, well, mentioned that she was having a good run. That's obviously all that it takes. She had 6 trips in training, and this is her 3rd, so she hasn't even done double digits of runs in these sleds yet. You can see it's still in bare carbon. That's how it comes from the factory. They've stuck the stickers on, but this is box fresh. At least it was before the competition started. 61.09. Well, again, that is 1.21 seconds better than she's been down the track.
Well, personal best, Martin. Fastest I've ever been down Altenberg. The only problem is I'm back in 16th place, but of course she's ahead of Bree Walker, but really hasn't done anything to say, well, I moved up. But she had her best time she's ever been down this track, but fastest.
Yeah. Well, I think she and Nadezhda Sergeva will be spending a lot of time in Sochi in the next few weeks before the ice goes, learning these sleds, because their teammates, like this woman, Anastasia Makarova, seem to have a little bit more of a handle on it. Makarova, far less experienced than Chernik and way less experienced than Sergeva, could well be giving them a run for their money. And she doesn't have a better start than either of them.
44, her best start of the three. Martin, her athletic background, pentathlon. See if she can get through here without banging the wall. She does, but skidding every spot fine.
Well, just 22, like Rostislav Gajtukovic.
Watch out!
New generation. Crashes out a 9. Does it come back up in the Chrysler? It does. Up. Is she steering? She is. Exact carbon copy of what happened to Alana Myers-Taylor.
Watch out here. Wow. She's got control, but she's got her hands on those D-rings or not.
Yeah, she sure did. Otherwise she'd have crashed on the exit of Chrysler as well. Whoa, 63.2.
Martin, if you can't win, make it exciting. That's exciting.
Again, look how new the sled is. It hasn't even got any sponsor logos on. They clearly hadn't got enough. It's just got the BMW logo that the organizers supply.
Skidding here on the outlets up top. Look at the back end there.
Yeah.
This is 9. Just look at the airborne. I think she ducked her head quickly. Look at her. She ducks her head. She knows she's gone over.
Yeah.
She could feel it, like, you know, maybe it's time to go under the cowling. That was a good choice. Well, now,
the sled was
I'm sure she knows the sled could come back up.
Yeah.
And she probably knew sled can come back up here. And look at her. She's very well.
That will rattle your cage, definitely. Well, she knows what Alana Myers-Taylor felt yesterday in the first heat. She too crashed off corner 9, came back up in the Chrysler, got back on the horse that threw her for the second heat. She is not going to let this sled or this track beat her. Here we go again. 6:05 start, so she's still giving it the full beans.
Yeah, but Cynthia Appiah just beat her by 1200ths. Alana Myers-Taylor's never been beaten by 1200ths in any heat of bobsledding ever at the start. She's still the second best starter, but Alana just wants to get this to the bottom clean like she did in the first run.
Well, you know, and the difference with Cynthia is that Alana had a year away to give birth and to raise her small baby, so all of that fitness level has sort of dropped a little. And last night, what was she thinking? Do I carry on with this, or do I just stay with Nick and Nico, and do we just get ready to go home? Well, in the end, this is what she does. As well as being a mum, she's an athlete.
This is a very, very driven athlete. She's going to move up 3 spots at least.
Boom, up ahead of Chernik and Walker and Makarova. Yep.
20, she's only 1800ths behind De Bruyn. So, listen, very driven female athlete here. Nothing will stop her. And again, coming back, she gave birth to her baby about a year ago.
Yep.
C-section. So she had a lot of rehabbing to do to get to where she is.
Yeah, for sure.
before Cynthia Appiah just made her emergence, this was the best female athlete driver in the world. And, you know, she's got 2 Olympic silver medals as a driver. She's got a bronze medal as a brakeman way back in 2010. And look at her, 1 more heat to go. And then she goes back to the U.S. Olympic trials, which will be in Lake Placid, where I'm sitting now, where the World Championships should have been.
Slovakia's Victoria Černáčka. Next up, Černáčka dropped a couple of spots in the second heat as Alana got by her, and so too did Makarova. So she will get both of those back, not from Alana, but from Makarova and probably from Bree Walker as well.
Well, Martin, she's the only athlete I found on our list that her favorite movie is Cool Runnings. She's the best dressed sled in the race. That's her president of the Slovakian club, Milan Janicic, 3-time Olympic driver. Just wants to get down, Martin. She's learning. Pretty good there.
It's a pretty sweet looking run.
Watch out.
19th place, so she is ahead of Makarova.
Ooh,
Does she get to Brianna Walker?
Right there.
18th at the line, 18th at the line. No, 18th fastest run, 19th at the line, and she is half a second behind Brianna Walker.
She's picked up a couple there. No.
Yeah, that
she did.
She's picked up 1 from Makarova, so that puts her in 19th, and that should put her into the final heat. And again, they need to do something about that visor fogging up. It's not a foggy day, but it is for Černáčka.
All 3 runs. Look at the visor. She's looking above it.
Yeah. Yeah, she has to. You need to see where you're going here.
Not like you can call time out and wipe it off halfway down. Look at that, out of 15. 2 runners at 80 miles, about 75 miles an hour. She's happy.
Well, 2 thumbs up from 18-year-old Victoria Černáčka, our Youth Olympic silver medalist last year in girls bobsleigh. Kelly Humphries leads from Lara Nolte and Stephanie Schneider. 20 sleds down, 3 to go. Who makes the field? Well, the money should be on Anne van Nieuwenhuis getting in. She was 1.7 seconds behind Anastasia Makarova. When Makarova crashed, that opened up an opportunity for the Belgian to go again. But first, she's got to get a good 3rd run down.
That's not the way to do it there. She's had problems there. At least one of the other runs. And Anne's an experienced driver. Of course, not with these little machines, but she's certainly covering the track.
Yeah. Really skiddy. 20th best speed. She is still in 21st place on the splits. But this is where she should gain ground on Makarova. How close does she get? Is she in the top 20? It's either her or the BFR athlete. And at the line, she is out at the moment. Now, the question is, if Makarova does not feel fit enough to continue, or Brianna Walker, does that automatically promote sleds that finish the run outside of the top 20? Or is Anne finally done with Monobob for this track?
First 3, 4, 5, 6. Watch this, bang. Up, down, back up, and then she has to steer hard to get off, and then she crashes into the take-on, almost rolls it. Watch the way the sled pops up. Not as bad as we've seen some other sleds, but then look at this. That's the worst Tokyo drift of the heat, Martin.
Yeah, it threw her straight up into 6. And then out of 9, gathers it up. But where there's no pressure on the straights, any tiny little bit of pressure you bring off the corner just catches you out. Okay, 2 to go.
She says.
No. Poland's Sylwia Smolarek dropped a spot to 22nd after the first heat.
She's probably, between her and Ann, I'd like to know who the smallest athlete is in the field. I would go with Sylvia here.
Yeah, she might well be the lightest, I reckon.
Soccer player, but table tennis, Martin, she wrote down. And table tennis is about good eyes and hands.
I was just about to say it was looking like a tidier drive. I should have waited till after 9. I think I'd learned by now.
That's it. Pretty good there, 11, 12. 13 on the wrong side of the straightaway. She has to steer really hard again. She had 2 steers really hard in 13, 14. That's why she was double sideways in the graveyard. But she's through and down, Martin. 21st place.
Yep.
1:03:08:54.
62.82. That is 3/10 better than her second heat yesterday, but her first run down the track is still her quickest. That was 2,200 slower, so a bunch more mistakes creeping in on the third run. That might be her final trip down this Altenberg Ice Canal for the World Championships. There's her brake woman who was with her in the women's race, helping out down the bottom.
This is the wrong. Watch how hard she has to skid or steer there. Then she has to steer hard again. And here, look, she gets in late. Watch the back end skid again. And then she steers off of there only to have this fate in the graveyard. That's the first sled we've seen turn sideways, 2 different angles in the 2 weeks.
Well, she gets great points from the judges for style in the drift competition, but it does take the speed away. Final sled in the third heat of our women's Monobob World Championships is Lydia Hunko from the Ukraine. 21st fastest run in the second heat. Didn't move her out of 23rd place, but it showed that she's finding a bit more pace.
Martin, we've got sprinters, and we've got throwers, and we've got volleyball players, soccer players. This is the only strong woman athlete we have. That's her former sport. Phys ed teacher. It's not as bad as most. 19th best speed.
27 years old. She's only had a handful of bobsleigh races in her life.
Good line there.
She's looking very
Much
nice.
better run.
Moving out to the side
This
around the
Ukraine
cow.
athlete, she's starting to figure things out.
Nice stuff. 62 dead. That is 1.26 seconds quicker than her first trip down. So that is big progress.
8,400ths than her second trip down.
Yeah.
Nice work from
John,
this Ukrainian
that's the
athlete.
only way you can measure yourself. You can't go, I'm still slower than Kaylee. Yes, you are. You're 14 years less experienced than Kaylee, but you can measure yourself against what you did last time, and that is a big improvement for Lydia Hunko.
Ooh, look at that sled fall off that curve.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable.
Didn't have the
Some of
speed
these
to hold it up.
lines, something you never see a 2-man, especially a 4-man, 2-woman sled to do that. And hey, she completed her 3 heats. Congratulations.
Yep, indeed. First ever World Championships. Vladislav Heriskevich down there helping out. It's a tiny Ukraine team. Now at the top of the pile is Kaylee Humphries. And it has been a progress for Kaylee. 4th in the first heat, fastest in the second to move up to 2nd place overnight. She had the best time in the 3rd heat as well. She has taken the lead of the race. 1600ths ahead of Lara Nolte of Germany, with Stephanie Schneider and Yamanka 3rd and 4th. Cynthia Appiah 5th, a real challenge for Yamanka. And Kim Kalicki slipping to 6th. Kalicki's going the wrong way after a great first heat. Melissa Lottholtz in 7th ahead of Martina Fontenev, who also slipped. Katie Biles slipped back as Lottholtz jumped 2. Melanie Hassler back into the top 10 as McNeil and Grecu faded. Sergeva in the middle of the 15. Alana Myers-Taylor crashing out in the first heat up to 16th place. How high can she go? And crashes in our third heat for Bree Walker and Victoria and Anastasia Makarova. Drop them back out of contention, but Makarova is in the race should she wish to go. The fast 20 go in our fourth final deciding heat of the first ever BMW IBSF Women's Monobob World Championships. The sleds will be back on ice in just over 30 minutes time. Stay with us for all the action.